What's good? What's good? What's good with you? What's good with me? Huh? Chilling. I am chilling with MsQuietQueen and ABB. And we got a good stream for you set. What's up, Sandy? Everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming through, and thank you to you as well that's listening that's not in the chat. And if you want to interact, just go ahead and drop a message in the chat. Join the live chat fam. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back. The rabbits are here. You know what I mean? You know who you are. And if you have any questions, just reach out. We're all stars, you know? And so I got a few, like I said, in the green room right now with me here and with you. About to bring them out right now. About to bring out MsQuietQueen. MsQuietQueen, come on out. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, you know, just hanging in there, you know. So the divine feminine, you know, I always want to know about that. You know, actually, I've heard about that, and I just really never knew much about the divine feminine. Can you explain?
Sure.
Well, first off, for the people that don't know who you are, do you want to give a brief introduction to who you are?
Okay, sure. Well, I'm MsQuietQueen. I have been posting spiritual videos here on YouTube. I would say since about 2011, 2012. And I do have some videos over on Daily Motion as well. I am a spiritual life coach, so to speak, you know, off the record. I am also a clairvoyant, clairaudient. I have done readings and different things like that for people. And I am in the process of wrapping up my very first novel. So look forward to that.
Okay, so what is your novel going to be about, or what's your novel about?
Well, actually, I'm not going to go too much into it because of the legalities right now, but I will say, you know, at the end of every video, I always say, stay in the light. I feel like that's very important, which is the name of the series of books that I'm writing. You know, it's a series of 4, and I'm completing the first volume. It actually entails several different things. In my book, it's not like your average novel where you have to read chapters 1 through 10 in order to understand the book. That's why I call my chapters worlds, because you can go to any chapter first. They're not related that way. It is me talking about astral traveling and different events and ideas that has happened to me and experiences that I have happened on a spiritual level, you know, and a lot of channeling, which is what I like to talk about tonight as far as the divine feminine. Do you mind if I just jump right in right now?
Oh, yeah. The pool is open. The pool is open. Go ahead.
Okay. So first I want to give my disclaimer. I know that there are some men on the line like yourself and ABB. I want y'all to know I have nothing but love for my brothers. Okay. Whenever I find that whenever there's a conversation about the divine feminine in mixed company, sometimes the men can feel a little offended. And this is never, ever my intention to offend anybody. When I get downloads or uploads, if you will, about a variety of subjects, I roll with it. And sometimes I get a little nervous about discussing it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But Mother Goddess has already told me, if I'm giving you this information, you need to speak on it. So with that being said, I have also been a channel for the energy of Mother Earth, Gaia Earth. Okay, I pick up messages from her, you know, and there's a large tree in front of my house that I use as a catalyst. So I don't want to offend anybody. I just want to make that clear, okay? Because there is a an actual channeled message that I have from I want to say Mother Earth, but it's actually an energy goddess. And this energy goddess, her name is Genesis. And she's been communicating with me for several years, but I really never talk about it. I never spoke about it on my channel either, but it is in the book. And I'm going to talk about just briefly the question and answer session that she and I had. But I wanted to explain first what exactly the divine feminine is. Everyone knows what the divine masculine is. It's evident. We can see from what's going on in our world, you know. But the divine feminine is an intense energy, and she represents truth. She represents compassion. She is also the root force where all other forces come from. Okay, she's mama. And this is what a lot of people, and I'm not male bashing, but in particularly some men and even some women who fall victim to misogyny, have an issue with. The divine feminine is what gives birth. Okay, what gives birth. So let me repeat that. The divine feminine is an intense energy that represents truth, compassion. She is the root force where all other forces come from, including the divine masculine. Okay, he comes from that as well. Everywhere we look, the divine feminine is there. Whether you look at the birds, the trees, water, everything comes from a feminine energy. We're born from our mothers. We come from a feminine energy. When you look up in the sky and you see a spaceship, what do they call it? A mothership. Why? Because she's carrying life. That's why they always use the feminine pronoun when doing that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And also what I find that we have an issue with in our world and all of our governments is that there needs to be a balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It needs to be evenly balanced. If you have too much masculine energy, you get wars, stubbornness, and other things. Too much divine feminine, however, can stunt your growth, and it can also make you weak. But this is not, I'm not trying to be negative, but this is what can happen. Everyone has both of these qualities. All of us, you, me, all of our listeners right now, we all have both feminine and masculine energies. However, when you cater to one over the other, that's when you become unbalanced. Okay. This is what has happened to our world governments, all of them. The Divine Mother was pushed back for so long that the powers that be, we're just going to say that, managed to erase her presence for time. And I'm just here to let everybody know she's back. They wanted to eliminate her, period. And they thought they had done that, but they didn't. Unfortunately, they did a really good job in erasing her memory for a time, because everyone is so used to using he and giving credit to Father God. Okay. But she's back and she asked me, not just me, but other people, to talk about her more, because we are ascending. We are moving. We are in the fourth dimension, as you and I had this conversation the other night, remember? We're moving forward. And so there's going to be so many events that's going to take place, and we have to embrace Mother God. It's her turn now. Okay? To connect with her, you need to connect with her, first of all. And then I'm going to talk about, real briefly, the channel message, just in case anybody want to hear. Y'all can let me know in the comments if you would like to hear that channel message. I'm not going to, talk about the whole thing because I don't want to go too far, and I'm anxious to hear from my brother, ABB. But to connect with her, you need to do things like hug a tree or go to the park. Spend some time in your own backyard, swim in the lake, walk in some dirt, lie in the dirt, put the dirt over you. This is not gross, okay? Grow a plant from seed. Watch it grow, okay? Do something nurturing. And I think it's so, so, so very important for men really to embrace their feminine side. It doesn't mean anything negative. It's not compromising your manhood, is not emasculating or anything like that. You need to embrace your feminine side. We need to be more compassionate. This is why the world is so jacked up right now, because there is just the masculine force has ran rampant for centuries. There's war in just about every single country. Why is that? It's done intentionally. And now that we are waking up, we have to do our due diligence as children of God and spiritual people to embrace and teach others how to embrace the feminine side, not letting go of the masculine side. Continue to embrace him, but make it a balance, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just get into this channeled message that I was blessed with. Now, this channeled message, I've held on to it for so long, and I asked Mother Goddess, what do you want me to do with this information? I mean, I've been sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it. And she whooped my behind several times because she said, you should have had this book done a long time ago. So something dramatic happened to me last year in February. I won't get into, but it was the fire under my feet that I needed to put all of this into fruition. So I'm trying to bring it up now. Give me one moment, please.
It's all good. And thank y'all for joining us. Avon, you know what I mean? Pre, Sandy B. I got your back. Thanks for having ours. Thank you so much. The Divine Feminine.
Okay, so all right, I'm going to go ahead and let you all in on something. Now, some of you that are listening right now, I know ABB knows about the first chapter that I've done. And my publisher said it was okay to go ahead and speak on things just to get piques people's interest. In the chapter, I'm having a conversation with my higher self. And I was taken somewhere in the water, and I met this intelligent marine life, y'all. It was completely amazing. This happened to me, I'm going to say it was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s. And I had this in my head all this time, and I never did anything with this information, and I never told anyone about it. But this is where I met these marine animals. I call them the hush mammal because of the sound that they make. All right. So I need y'all to know that, I had to go through that formality so you could understand this channeled message. Okay. So.
Did you, 1 second, I'm sorry. Did you say the hush mammal?
Yes. Hush mammal. Hush mammal. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my conversation to, well, it's hard to explain that right now. From the goddess Genesis, but she came through another type of personality. Let me go ahead and read it, and then if anybody have any questions, I can try to clarify. So this is how the interview or download went. Who created the hush mammals? Mother Majesty. Yes, I know that, but who created her? An energy goddess named Genesis. What do you mean by energy goddess? That means she was all energy void of physical form. Why didn't she create a form for herself to dwell in? She did. Mother Majesty holds 40% of Goddess Genesis' essence. Her first 12 daughters are responsible for 5% each. Why didn't Mother Majesty keep 100% of her power to herself? Because her essence was too strong and powerful for one physical vessel. Oh, I see. Well, we know what the 12 sisters' expertise are. What are Mother Majesty's strengths? To possess this knowledge, you must have a good reason for needing it. And then you have to go through Purple Penny but remember, she will destroy you if you do not have a good reason to ask. Is that right? But I thought she only attacks if she feels you are misusing the information you inquire. Yes, this is true. She also reserves the right to bust your chops for wasting her time asking for frivolous reasons. Why are the hush mammals so quick to reprimand or kill? Because we were almost enslaved by the accidental male hush mammal, and Mother Majesty wants to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Did you say accidental male hush mammals? Yes. Why are they considered accidental? Because they are a deformity, to use a human term, a freak of nature. Do you mean to say that Mother Majesty created and gave birth to the male hush mammals, or were they created another way? No, Mother Majesty gave birth to them. Her body was becoming weary, but she still had the desire to produce, so she found new ways to use parthenogenesis. Listen to that word, y'all. Parthenogenesis, which we won't get into right now. Suffice it to say, it backfired. Why aren't there any more male hush mammals? I'm sensing in my soul, this is me asking, I'm sensing in my soul that the male hush mammals no longer exist. Am I right in what I'm feeling? Yes, your feelings are correct. In the beginning, there was no intention of creating a male hush mammal. There was no need for one. We reproduce by parthenogenesis. However, something happened in nature. A deformity was created. Thus, the male species was born. This is how all male species were born, human and animal. The males are actually a type of female, if that makes sense. This is not to insult all of the male species, although some men who are reading this or who are listening to this message will find this offensive. It is just the truth. It is not meant to offend. Despite the crushed feelings of some, we cannot hold back the truth any longer. Our knowledge is just like technology. It is meant to be shared. If this type of knowledge and information is not shared and spoken of, it will rupture the very universe we dwell in. It is like the knowledge is inside a vacuum container with no room to expand. Therefore, we have to let it out by giving it away. Some male species on your earth are privy to this information or have been privy to this information, and yet they choose to keep it a secret. Just like some races choose to keep secret the true identity of dark-skinned people on your planet. This is why many men have fallen victim to misogyny. Have you noticed that there is no word that means the hatred for men, but misogyny means a hatred for women? Why do men hate women? Some of them don't know why, but it has been encoded in their DNA. At one time, there were men who were alive on your planet who knew the secrets of women. All women and how powerful all women are, and how women are the first creators, and that women are magical. They also knew there is a hierarchy of women. The melanated woman is at the top of the hierarchy. This is why today darker skinned women are treated the worst. Spells of humanity were cast against these women. The men in this group were used as well to cast spells and to help spread the hatred for dark-skinned women, and in doing so, spread the hatred of all women, because all women come from her, the first goddess. These spells were so strong and so powerful that even nowadays, women feel like it is a sin to refer to God as she. They have gotten so far away from the divine feminine to the point where no one believes that she exists, but she does exist, and she is in pain. She is hurting because the very subjects that she gave birth to don't believe in her, and she loves us so much unconditionally. Men and women alike believe you have to use the pronoun he in referring to God. In their Bible, in the book of Genesis 2:2, is the story about how man supposedly created woman. Now listen to this. That doesn't even make sense. You cannot create an entire being from a bone. How then did the reproductive system come about? How did Adam create Eve from his rib? Who created Adam? And whomever or whatever created Adam, why couldn't that entity create Eve? Can you see how that doesn't make sense? It's confusing. But nowadays, women have to give birth. Why did God change his mind if he is the original creator? So are we to believe he just gave birth to Eve and just decided, I'm done with this. I don't want to give birth anymore. I don't want to create from my womb or from my rib. I'm just going to let Eve do it. Man cannot give birth. If he could, he would be a woman. Get it? The male species wants so desperately to be superior over women, they have even gotten women to help suppress them. It's quite sad, actually. What happened to them? You mean the accidental male hush mammal? I'm going to stop here. Prop, if I'm going over too long, just stop me. It's not going to be that much longer, but if you need to interject or you want to stop me, go ahead, okay?
No, that's okay. I mean, I really enjoyed it so far. But you know what? I have ABB sitting in the green room. I'll bring him out right now so he could
let's do that.
Be able to interject. So, gentle women and men, I now introduce to you, back for another spiritual discussion, ABB.
All right, what's up, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
All right. I tell you, hello, my sister, MsQuietQueen, and everybody in the room. I must say, MsQuietQueen, that what you said is so on point, so outstanding.
Thank you.
You know, the thing with me is that I'm definitely not the typical male, okay? I've never denied that. I've always embraced it. And ironically, me embracing my unique makeup as it relates to the divine feminine, and I'll get more into that later, because I recognize that my unique abilities, my power, and my greatest strengths come from the fact that I have embraced my divine feminine and have incorporated it in perfect harmony with my divine masculine. So I want you to finish what it is that you're reading, MsQuietQueen, because it's so on point. And then I just want to add to what you're saying. My language or the choice of words that I use may be slightly different, but we are definitely on the same page. And just as MsQuietQueen gave a disclaimer, we are not here to put anyone over the other. We all play a very important role here. I already know I'm going to say some things that some people may feel triggered by, but when it's all said and done, you still have the right to accept or dismiss. We're simply just sharing information, sharing what we remember, revelations, and in this case, a channeling. You can just listen with an open heart, filter, and then match it to what you see and what you have absorbed historically, and just leave it at that. So let me shut up. I'm going to let MsQuietQueen finish what she's saying.
Okay, thank you. Yes, let's reiterate the disclaimer. And this is not much longer because I'm not going to read the whole channeling. Y'all got to get the book, okay? But
Right.
I'm going to, it's just like two more paragraphs, small paragraphs, but I'm going to reread part of the one that I left off. The male species wants so desperately to be superior over women, they have even gotten women to help suppress them. It's quite sad, actually. What happened to them? You mean the accidental male hush memo? Yes. They became arrogant and aggressive. They thought that because they were physically stronger and faster than the female, and sometimes stronger and faster than Mother Majesty herself, that they were a greater species. They were only stronger, not smarter. They lack creativity, and they do not understand that creativity is superior to strength. They think like most human males, especially men in the Middle East on planet Earth. They feel they are better than women. They feel they are superior than women. Most male species, even in the animal kingdom, feel they are greater and superior than the womb in which they came from. I mean, think about it for a moment, okay? How asinine is that thought? Men cannot produce life and give birth, and yet they think they're superior to women. Men cannot breastfeed and give nourishment to a baby, and yet they think they're superior to women. They lack the creativity to go within using parthenogenesis to create worlds after world after world after world, and yet they think they're superior to women. They cannot handle menstrual cramps and the monthly changes that we go through, or having a period every month, nor the pain of childbirth, and yet they think they're superior to women. Men think they are superior because the female species acts on emotion and unconditional love for her creations and would rather submit than to fight. The female species also understands that they are physical. We are, most of us, physically not as strong as most men, and therefore would rather submit. That is why they think they are better and superior than females, animals, and humans alike. They feel they are superior. So they tell the world that the Creator God was a male. They say he, him, father. They will recognize the mother plane or a mothership in our skies, but if they see a larger one, they will name it the fathership. They have the desire to always put themselves above women. They want to always be in control in every aspect they could possibly create. Now, he, him, Father, God does exist, but he has a consort because man or the male species feels that they are superior to the female species. They don't recognize Mother Goddess, and that is a sin. That is why your world is so messed up today, because the world does not respect or pay homage to the womb of the woman. There is no balance in your world.
Mic drop. I love it.
Outstanding. Absolutely. That ain't nothing but the truth.
Yes, that was a channeled message that I received many, many years ago, and just now decided to talk about it, to bring it up, because it's time. It's time to talk about it. You know,
You know, we all. Yeah, we often talk about how much we want to see the world being a better place, but it is absolutely impossible if we continue to allow the divine feminine to be oppressed and suppressed. And that has exactly been the case for thousands of years. And what has happened is that men with a draconian state of consciousness has institutionalized this way of thinking, and and this belief, and it's permeated all throughout society, and people are born into this world thinking that that is the way to go. But when we look at the world, we know something is very, very wrong with men at the helm. And so what I want to add first is to how you described the divine feminine, and I 100% agree, but it's also very nurturing, the divine feminine energy. It is all encompassing. You did talk about unconditional love as it relates to the divine feminine, but the divine feminine is nurturing. And again, that is a divine feminine trait that every life form, really, especially when we come into the world fresh out of the womb, we innately desire that. We're not coming out the womb desiring war and, you know, all these things, clout and status and all that. We want that love. We want that nurturing. That's the foundation. So if this is very, this leans to what you were saying in terms of how the divine feminine had to be first. That's the creation of life right there. That is the foundation. And so what essentially, when you talked about, excuse me guys, because it is kind of late and I'm not as sharp when I'm really late and tired, but I think I can get through this one because there's so many points I can make.
Right,
But
you're good.
when you talked about the hush beings being the male hush beings being a deformity, that correlates what I had been saying and have known. And this is the truth. Okay. Now, again, I know some guys, especially the macho chismo crowd, they can't handle stuff like
Exactly.
this. But males are I always say that men are genetically modified women. And that lends into a whole
Yes,
nother
that's right. I'm
discussion.
sorry.
Absolutely. That leads into a whole nother discussion as to who did it and why did they do it. Okay. And so for them to genetically modify men to make men, they didn't create men. They basically took DNA from the first whole woman, the whole being. Women are the closest to a complete being, which is really androgyny. The males are genetically modified variant from that, taken from her genes, her genetic pool, her genes, her DNA. Now, people find that hard to believe. Well, when you look at the male anatomy, right? We all, and this is a scientific fact, why do we all start off as female at some point? And then what happens is
Right.
chromosomes and, you know, it does its thing. And what happens? What is the ovaries descend and become the testicles. If we can see, we as men, we see that seal where it closes up. We can still see it. We get in the mirror, we see that. The clitoris is an elongated penis. And the thing, and at some point, the testosterone kicks in and it stops the men from developing breasts and hips and all the things that make a woman. But those very fine, those fine elements that separates the male and female, the foundation is still female. This is a scientific fact. So I'm not going to sit here because I'm in a male body or because this is a patriarchal society and ignore the obvious. I'm not that. If you want somebody to just go along with the popular narrative, you better call somebody else. I'm not that dude. I'd rather acknowledge the truth, hold the truth as best as I can, and share it to those who are receptive, and those who are not, you're not ready. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. There's no way anyone is going to ascend out of this matrix and out of this hellhole without respecting and honoring and embracing the divine feminine. You're just not going to get but so far.
That's
So
right.
those guys out there who shame males, who respect women, who honor women, those of us who have the divine feminine and we embrace it and we personify it, in the end, you had better reconsider your mentality, because again, if you are with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, and you're not allowing her to tune you up and to you learn from her and get that wisdom that she has in her very being so that you can tune up and level up, you're not going to go but so far. And I don't want to sound condescending or sound like I'm preaching or anything. It's just the way it is. It's just like when we look at science, when they create the perfect machine, they have a perfect balance of positive and negatives. You need a perfect balance of certain components for those systems to work in harmony and work correctly. Well, we are electrical beings of light. Okay, we have, like as MsQuietQueen said in the beginning, we all inherently have divine feminine, but here's what happens. We have varying degrees of it. Then we have males, especially, who see the divine feminine as a weakness when it is not. It is a very powerful force if you just have to know how to use it when you need it and put it away when you don't. So you have males who shame and put down the divine feminine to the point where they are suppressing it in themselves. And here's why we have so many men who cannot emotionally, they are weak at expressing and decoding and their emotions. That's another very important factor here as electrical beings with emotions. How can you properly what's the word I'm looking for? How can you properly process and decode and express your emotions without the divine feminine? You can't. This is why a lot of guys feel like if they're not in control, their best bet is to or if they're not winning in an argument or a battle in some kind of way. You notice a lot of guys want to get violent because in that moment they're not able to process their emotions in a way, because we know that women are emotionally stronger. The divine feminine has a lot of strength that a lot of males are not working on. They have the potential to get those strengths, but because they're suppressing and ignoring their divine feminine and just not honoring it, they're becoming extremely weak in ways that really, really, really matters. But no one has ever taught them this. So here, I'm going to use myself as an excuse. I mean, not as an excuse, as an example, excuse me. I've always embraced, I came in more on the dominant in the divine feminine, because I know this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people. I know for a fact I have had more lives as woman. So when you have a life as a particular being, you accrue magnetics that correspond with that. So I came in the world naturally intuitive. That's a trait that women naturally have, right? Naturally, very expressive, very nurturing. I talk about it all the time. I knew how to deliver babies and how to handle babies at the age of 9 years old. I started babysitting and handling babies at 9 years old. Grown men right now can't do that. So that is related to me embracing or just innately having that divine feminine power. And then I was able to relate and identify and respect the women around me. And it's still to this day, I feel more of a connection with the women because they, again, are more in tune with both the divine masculine and feminine. Many of our males are just outright not embracing or care to do that. So I can't relate to that. Yeah. But the people ask me, how am I able to sense this? Like, women are not naturally psychic, intuitive, or what you call it. You will find men who have that ability tend to be men who are in tune with their divine feminine. Men who are very compassionate and and caring are in tune with their divine feminine. But that does not mean that you still can't pull forth that that masculine or that divine masculine power, because anybody knows me. They know I'm nice, I'm caring, I'm loving, I'm forgiving. I can pull that side out, but cross me and mess with.
Exactly. Well, what do you think about the questions that they have up right now? Someone asked, so do males feel threatened by the divine feminine? Yes. Or so men are a genetic mutation? Exactly. But it's not anything to be disrespectful about. But ABB, I wanted to ask you, why do you think? I mean, I have my own, hypotheses of why men feel this way. Why do you feel that they feel like they're superior?
Well, there are multiple reasons. I think the first and foremost, is what they are being fed. Number one, because it's everywhere. The same way in which those who have privilege in society, and many of them may say, "Oh, I don't feel like I'm better than somebody else." But then I turn that around and say, "How can you not when we live in a society that constantly push you on a pedestal and make you appear to be the numero uno?" So it's the same for men in a patriarchal society where men are dominating and on top, and this is what males come in the world and see, and then that is reinforced in the media, and then the fathers and the brothers and so on say that are reinforcing those ideologies. That's number one. And then two, I think a lot of males inherently know that they matter, that they are. They have a great importance, but because males are bigger and stronger, and we are builders, there's a void that's still telling them I'm not quite there. Something is missing in me.
Exactly.
I feel validated. So in order to feel validated, I must put myself in a position to psych myself up into believing that I am at the top of the food chain, even though that void that I'm feeling inside is not being filled with this mentality, but I must hold on to it because it is, again, a reinforcement of the theology, the programming, and the images that I'm getting as it relates to my importance. And I am a God. Again, God, as you said before, how God is often referred to he. So again, when males hear that creates a superiority complex.
Exactly. And the person that's online now, Raider Champion, I feel like is, making my case in point. No disrespect to this person at all. Nothing but love for you. I already gave my disclaimer before I started speaking about the divine feminine. This is not to insult anybody, but if you feel insulted, that is your cue to check yourself and to go within. Men cannot create women. It is not being insulting. It is an actual fact. It's an actual fact. And I think that because the world and the world governments have pushed the narrative of man first, man first, man first, man superior, that with all due respect, a lot of men have became spoiled of this. He said it's more divide and conquer. Absolutely not. It's not about divide and conquer. The only way that we're going to get through this is to get through it. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting, but it has to. It has to. This is what we have to go through. I'm sorry that he feels that way, but and when I was having this channeling, and I just recently was speaking to an energy, a feminine energy, not too long ago, and they were saying it's time to talk about it, and people are going to be upset. I'm going to assume that a lot more people have something worse to say than Raider Champion just did. But
I'd like to interject.
I'd
like to interject real quick. When you're talking, there's feedback coming from, I think, your microphone when you're talking.
Who, me?
Yeah, it's like air in the background, so it's hard to understand what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was touching my mic.
Okay, so you sound better now. You can continue. Sorry about that.
Oh, I think I'm kind of finished, but I just didn't want this person to feel upset. You know, he said like yin and yang. Yeah, yin and yang, that's male and female. You just said it right there, sir. As yin and yang is male and female. We have to have a balance.
Right.
That's what's important. That's what we were talking about. Don't get offended by the truth. And this is what Mother Earth was telling me. They're going to get offended by the truth. And I, like ABB, you and I were having a personal conversation the other day. It was like, you know things and you want to say things, but you don't want to be, you don't want to be hurtful to anybody's feelings. But that's because we're nurturers.
Right.
You know, we are in contact with our feminine side, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But now is the time, since we are ascending, we have to just pull up our bootstraps and do it, and just tell them, because it's time. Greater, I'm gonna challenge you, sir. Greater champion, I'm gonna challenge you. Go ahead and just go into meditation, sit down or stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, ask these questions, ask your higher self to give you the right answer. Don't just automatically say, no, that's not true. Divide and conquer. This is poisonous. Don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're not allowing yourself to grow spiritually, which is why you're here in the first place. There's no such thing as serendipity. There was a reason why you came here, because Father, Mother God wanted you and needed you to be here and listen to this. Just give it a chance.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
Oh, one thing, when you're talking, MsQuietQueen, I believe this feedback is coming from ABB's mic when you're talking. I think his mute is, he's not muted when you're talking. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You can continue. Just if the other person could mute while the other person's talking, that would be great. Thanks.
The male. Okay, I'm going to speak in terms from the Akashic records, because I saw this a very long time ago. The male was, I wouldn't say a genetic mutate. This was very deliberate, but it wasn't the way we've been taught. The male is a genetic create, just like I said, a male is a genetic engine, was genetically engineered from the woman. I also say we've all been genetically engineered to some degree. I don't know why anybody, I can admit that I'm not offended by that, because that's just what it is. We're hybrids, we're mixed up, all this stuff has happened on this planet. They've been splicing DNA and creating different life forms since the beginning of time. But the original, the very first, comes by way of the divine feminine, the woman, because the woman, in terms of human beings, because the woman is the closest to a complete whole being. The woman has a microscopic penis. She also has a womb. She's both male and female in one, the closest.
That's right.
That you can look at. Why would anybody be offended by that? The male, when you again get in the mirror, look at your sack, look between your legs, you can see there's a line there. That used to be an opening when we were in the womb. We all started off as female, but because of the genetic engineering that has happened on this planet and the introduction and manipulation of hormones, the male was created really to protect the divine feminine. And so the whole thing went haywire when, again, it's a long story, but I seen it in the Akashic records a long time ago. The problem is that we have been so lied to and so miseducated in terms of the true history and who we really are and where we come from, that when anyone say anything outside of it, they become triggered and immediately think
exactly.
Saying somebody is more superior. No one here is saying anyone is more superior. We're simply talking about the foundation and how and why we are where we are now. And no one in their right mind could be looking at this world the way it is and the way it has been. Even nature is jacked up. Even that, there's a lot of anomalies happen there. No one in their right mind should be looking at the world the way it is and thinking this is a good thing. This is something that's in the leadership we have is doing it right.
Right, that's correct.
Right, really nice. I love it. Thank you all for the comments and everything like that. Something you wanted to say, Miss Quiet?
No, I'm just riding your tail right now.
Yeah. The ego. Now remember, and this is the most comforting, or should be the most comforting. Remember, these bodies are just vessels in which we express ourselves, but as light beings, okay,
Yes,
not
teach.
the body, it all started from the divine feminine, okay? So don't get too caught up on the physical body anyway. We're talking about light beings, whole, complete beings before we got to where we are now, and why it is so important that we start looking at the root, questioning everything that we've been taught. The obvious is right in our faces. A lot of times we just don't want to see it. It offends our ego. The ego is who we think we are. This is just an expression, one expression, a temporary expression. That's why we so-called perish, because this is not really who we are. We're just here to learn and experience by way of these vessels right now. For a period, hopefully gain more wisdom and evolve back to the whole being that we were all originally intended to be to begin with. And I do see that happening, but it's not going to happen until folks start putting their ego aside and stop being offended and taking everything as a personal.
Exactly.
And there's so much I see, so much I want to say and would like to say, but this is why I keep things to myself, because I know how easily triggered folk are. People, they say the truth, but like the old famous saying, you can't handle the truth. If someone tells me something,
Right.
that if I were really in my ego, I would be offended, but the truth is the truth.
What's that saying? How's that saying go? Tell the truth to shame the devil.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right. We just have to live and grow. That's all that is.
Okay, so some would say God is a male figure, and some would say he's both. But a lot of people I've heard says that God is a he. It says it in the Bible as well. What do you think about that?
Well, my views is this. Okay, now here I go again, about to step on some toes, y'all. Listen, I already gave you my disclaimer, but I believe that the Bible has been tampered with.
Right.
I believe that the Bible was created to fit an agenda of the elite that wanted to rule the masses. Okay, right. Now we already said that the title is Father, Mother, God, or Mother, Father, God, since she came first. They are. Mother God is his consort. He is her consort. Okay, so we have to have both for that balance. That's what I said earlier. It has to be a balance. We're not putting one above the other as far as importance. We're just saying that we have been ignoring the divine feminine. See, all of us have that. All of us have masculine and feminine traits. Why are we ignoring Mother? Why are we doing that? It's throwing us off. It's messing us up. And now that we are ascending into the fifth dimension, we have to embrace her, because she is on her way back. In fact, she is already here. And if you can't get with the program, you're gonna get left.
Yeah. And again, the divine feminine is the foundation. That's what we're saying. So at this point, yes, there are God. I said this I think I said it in the last live, in terms of gods, because there are many gods. At this point, there are female gods. There are male gods. There are all kinds of gods. Okay. We're not saying that at this point, but what we're talking about is the foundation. And without acknowledging and embracing and learning about that foundation, we're not going to see this world get any better, because it's that foundation is being hidden and suppressed and denied.
Okay, so somebody just said that the superior being has no gender. No one said that it was a gender. Let's get it clear. Okay, let's be clear. We're talking about energy. Okay, energies has, I don't know, a title for the lack of a better word. There's feminine energy and there's masculine energy. Like ABB just said, this body really doesn't mean anything. We, you know,
Right.
we are the soul, we are the spirit, we are that energy.
Right.
So now the supreme, the creator is a feminine energy first and a masculine energy. All right.
Right.
That's the point. We're not talking about male or female. Y'all getting too tripped up on the pronouns. Okay, it's all about the energy.
Yeah, the energy is the main focal point, but but I'm adding that that energy is here and manifesting and being expressed through these bodies, and this is how the power elites has used gender and sexuality to create this confusion. This is why I'm trying to make a connection in terms of physicality as well, because it's all connected here, but in the bigger picture, the root of it is what MsQuietQueen eloquently expressed in the very beginning. And many of us have been both in terms of physicality anyway. Many of us have been both. But again, if we're not in tune with that energy, that we're not aware of tuning into that foundation, we're not gaining wisdom, because that's the first mother, that's the first teacher, that's the foundation. I don't know how else.
Absolutely.
I think we have something you guys cut off. Before you continue, ABB, may I ask you to mute if you're not responding to her, because her voice is feeding back through your microphone.
Are we all good?
I think ABB's may be having an issue with his sound, I think. Are you still with us, ABB?
This phone is so fragile.
Oh, okay, he's still here. I thought you might have left and went to the astral plane for a minute. MsQuietQueen. Why is
Yes, sir.
Why is your name Quiet?
Okay, so I've gotten this question before. I took the name MsQuietQueen because I really believe, you can look at my avatar, it speaks volumes. And sometimes being quiet speaks volumes. Plain and simple. And
Right.
I always consider myself a queen, you know, or a goddess. So that's just the name I took. When I was raising my children and they would have an issue in school, or even when I would have an issue with somebody at work and they would create a lot of drama, I said, you know what? The best way to get somebody back is to figuratively assassinate them in your world. In other words, they don't exist. Don't say a mumbling word. Be quiet. Say nothing. Okay, if they crack a joke, don't laugh. Okay, if they walk in the room, don't acknowledge them. If they ask you a question, if you have to answer, one word answers only. And when you keep it to a minimum, like even when you're in a relationship with your partner, I've done this plenty of times. I'm not about to argue with you. I'm too great to argue. I don't argue in my relationship. I don't. You can have the floor, because you know what? At the end of the day, you look like a fool in the middle of the floor, arguing with yourself. Walk away. Be quiet, because being quiet speaks volumes. So there's a time to speak up and talk, and there's a time to not say anything.
Loved it.
Okay, guys, I apologize for that. I accidentally closed the window, and I have a new phone here, and I was trying to figure out how to get back to where I was.
Oh, technology, you know.
But I'm a quick learner, so I'm good.
Oh, that works. So did you hear what Miss Quiet said?
Yeah.
Okay, what are your thoughts about that? I'm wondering.
Well, that's MsQuietQueen. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, because I'm a quiet person too, so it's like I agree with what she said.
You know, people, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but people pay attention to you when you don't say much. ABB, you might be old enough to remember this. There was a commercial years ago that said, when John Hancock speaks, everybody listens.
Vaguely.
The insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's the moral of that statement is when you don't say anything and then you finally do, everybody listen. I remember when I was in college, I will always just be the one to pay attention. And when I raised my hand, everybody would stop the sub conversations. The teacher would get up and walk towards my chair, and everybody would turn around and look at me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then somebody said, well, you know why they do that, don't you? And I said, no, why? Because you don't hardly say anything. So when a shy person or a quiet person finally speaks up and says something, everybody listens. Less is more. Being quiet, again, speaks volumes.
Yes.
Nice. I like that. Oh, okay. So the divine feminine, I'm understanding a little bit more about that now, you know. So I thank you for what you had to say about it. I thank you for your, you know, what you added to it at ABB. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And again, we're not here trying to divide. We're simply pointing out a real problem in the world, a historical problem, and there are others. You know, it's the same thing when we talk about racism. And ironically, when we talk about racism, the people who become the most triggered are the people who are not the targets of it, you know, and it's that same kind of thing where, you know, talking about it, it's causing division. And, you know, people get triggered, but that's crazy. Not talking about it is keeping division going. And the reality is that we just have to really start pushing past these egos, who we think we are, and just be open-minded. And if someone give a disclaimer that we're not trying to X, Y, and Z, take our word for it. Because if we wanted to do that, believe me, we are both very intelligent and we know how to do it if that's what we want to do. We've given up many years of our lives, putting our livelihood, our lives on the line to bring people together and bring greater understanding in the world. And there are so many things that we could have brought to the table that we know that if people receive with an open heart, it would help. But you know, we deal with considering that we may hurt somebody's feelings because they feel like we are putting them down or whatever. It's just like telling someone that they have a drinking problem. I know someone, I'm not saying no name. I saw someone literally sit and drink 3 6-packs of beer. And I simply said, don't you think you're drinking a little too much? That's a bit much. Oh, you sound like so-and-so. I don't drink too. Got offended, got upset, felt like I was attacking them. And I responded to them out of care because I'm looking at them and seeing you're killing your liver and your kidneys. But because I'm pointing out something that they are doing that is harming them, because they enjoy it and they like the way things are, they're going to look at me as attacking them and putting them down. And I see the same kind of mentality when we talk about stuff like this, especially in a world that has created all these different groups, these subclasses and these categories, the race and all this crap, all these programs that have been put in place. And when we talk about how and why they're there and why they're not good, why would anyone get upset and start flipping it and trying to make it sound like we're trying to divide? You can't bring harmony.
I'm sorry. I think they get upset because they're like the bear that's hibernating, the sleeping bear.
Right.
You know, the bear is comfortable when he's sleeping. But when you start poking that bear, it's like, no, don't do that. They're uncomfortable. You know, it makes them uncomfortable. And it takes them out of their comfort zone. You know, so they're very fragile. But I wanted to reiterate something that somebody's asking. How can you connect more with the divine feminine? This person probably came in late, but there's several ways to connect with the divine feminine, and that is nature is the main way. Walking in the dirt, Go swim in a lake, not a swimming pool because that's full of chlorine and other chemicals. Go in the lake, go hug a tree. Okay. Grow some fruit and vegetables. Grow a plant from the seed. Put plants in your house. Okay. Talk to your plants. When you have plants in your house, talk to them. Different things like that. That's how you connect to your divine feminine and really mean it and be serious about it. Like you are seriously having a conversation because that's exactly what you're doing. You don't have to use your words, just feel it. Energy. We speak through energy. This is how I was able to channel the divine feminine by speaking through and with energy.
Right. Well said.
Have you heard of that song by, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Song by Pharrell. Go look it up, y'all. It's called you got that energy, but you ain't trying to use it. Go listen to that. That whole song is like, oh my goodness. This hits the nail right on the head of what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to sing it. ABB is the singer, not me. So
I have to go listen to that one. I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
But I want to say really quick, Radar Champion says, so disagreement equals disease and disorder. See, this is what I'm saying. It's called an analogy. I often use analogies to drive home a point. We have disease and disorder in the world. Yes. The fact that we live in a world that is oppressing and suppressing the divine feminine and putting males ahead of females because they're bigger and stronger. And I can go on and on and on. At this point, we all should be working side by side in harmony. Again, the disease of society as a whole started with the oppression, suppression of the divine feminine. So yes, I use the analogy very appropriately.
Hear, hear.
Okay. Really nice. All right, so anybody else have any questions for the guests here? Anybody here? Again, thank you for being in tune.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think this person here, and I'm going to stop addressing this person, no disrespect, but I like to stay on love's vibration. Those that are on the chat now that have gone to my live, I always talking about I am love's vibration. We are love's vibration. Let's stay on love's vibration and be positive. And I think that they constantly just want to nitpick and bring it down because they just butt hurt. And it's really not necessary. All I'm asking for you to do, all we're asking you for to do is just give it a chance and to learn. Because if you're constantly thinking, oh, that's division, oh, that's division, oh, that's division, and it really isn't. It's not about dividing. We said that over and over again. And it's like the more we say it, the more they disagree or the more rebuttals that they have. I never understood that.
Right.
Hey, booby love, I missed you. How you doing?
It's a controversial subject matter. Anything that's controversial, when you talk about religion, politics, sexuality, you're going to get this. There's always going to be someone who's going to try to make what you're saying not what it is or misinterpret the entire point. Again, we are here acknowledging a serious problem that has caused tremendous dis-ease in the world. And I can go even deeper, but we don't have that time because I can even explain with what they're doing in certain countries where they're aborting females in favor of males. And people think that's not going to cause a long-term serious collective negative impact on humanity when people are aborting females in favor of males. And they're doing this on a massive scale all over the world, and someone's going to sit in here and tell me that me talking about it is creating division or bringing attention to that, it's creating division. I can really, really go in on this subject matter, but God knows, the Almighty knows our intent and what we're trying to do. And what we have done, we have the receipts. We have helped a lot of people in our lives. So we know the deal. So it is what it is.
Thank you for understanding,
Yep.
Miss Kitty Lulu. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah. Really nice discussion. Anything else you want to add to that, Miss Quiet Queen?
No, I think I'm tapped out from that. Anybody have any questions or
What's up, fam?
anything like that? I'll reiterate something.
Okay. So yeah, let's definitely keep this positive. That's what it's
I
about.
don't mean to be reading or anything, but this is someone who is not here to understand. This is just someone in here to disturb the flow. This person is not at all interested in understanding anything.
Can you block them?
All right.
This person is disturbing the flow.
Well, let's just keep the flow going. I mean, as I always said on my channel, I do positivity here. So anybody in the chat that's not doing positivity is a whole nother story.
Well, you were asked to come here, but you're not offering. Now, why not ask questions that have merit and not constantly try to flip everything that's being said into something clearly that's not connected to what is being said? You're basically trying to you're trying to derail the point. You're not seeking understanding or inner-standing, or what I like to say, ultra-standing. Because
It's 11:11.
You're not being attacked. Who's attacking you? I'm simply clarifying what you're trying to put out there. You're missing our words. I'm simply trying to be as clear as possible. I'm trying to help you to understand our point of view, but you're not interested. That's what you're clearly showing us. You're not interested in understanding or ultra-standing. So this is a waste of time. And this is what I tell people all the time. I don't go out of my way preaching or trying to push anything on anyone. I simply put the information out there. If you receive it, fine. And if you don't, fine. That's it. So if I go into a room and people are talking about something that I don't resonate with, I'm not going to go in and disrupt the room and basically turn everything around and make it about how I feel. I'll simply exit out the back door and be done with it. Oh, this not resonating with me, so I'm going to move on.
I get the feeling that this person's just attention seeking. But anyway, moving on. Is there any other topic of we need to talk about? Because I am going to be going in about 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, one question is kind of off subject, but I think that a lot of the stuff connects. Just real quick, some people here are from the Mandela Effect community. What do you think about the Mandela Effect, just real quick, before you go?
Are you asking me?
Yes, and you, ABB could interject if he likes.
Well, I've already given mine. I'd rather let MsQuietQueen give hers. I had given mine.
Sounds good.
The broadcast. But go ahead, MsQuietQueen.
Okay, well, the Mandela Effect, I think, has affected all of us at some point. I see it all of the time. Like I mentioned this in other videos that I've made, where I know somebody. Well, I heard about somebody passing away and they show proof of it, and then a couple of months later, I don't know if that's to be considered as the Mandela Effect. I kind of, associated with it like that, like the Berenstein Bears, that type of thing. I know is a Mandela Effect. But I also heard about I saw someone that had a baby. When I was mentioning a celebrity, I know you don't want me to mention names, but she had 2 children, and now she just has 1. And I just feel like the reason why that happened is that somebody's messing with the CERN machine. I don't know if y'all know about that. I can't get into it right now. We don't have enough time to be talking about the CERN machine, but somebody's messing with the CERN machine, and or timelines, people jumping into timelines, and causing paradoxes. Basically, in a nutshell, is what the Mandela effect is somebody is causing a paradox. And the reason why it's called the Mandela effect, it got that name because of Nelson Mandela, the president, the former president. What country? I don't remember what country he was the president of. Shame on me. But he was in prison for over 20 years. And I remember hearing he died in prison. And then next thing we know, no, he's about to get out. So everybody, there was like 50% of the people said no, he passed away in prison, and 50% of the people said no, he's still alive. That's because that's what they remember, and that's how the name or the title of Mandela Effect came about. And yeah, ultimately somebody's messing with the timelines and causing a paradox.
Okay. Well, I definitely enjoyed, and thank you for coming through to speak on the divine feminine and a little bit of the Mandela effect. I appreciate it, you and ABB. Thank you.
Yes, it's a controversial subject matter indeed, and these are conversations that must be had, and they are sometimes uncomfortable, and people mistake passion for angry and condescending and all that. That's not, I'm very passionate. I see a lot. And remember, we're looking at this from very unique perspectives as well. And when you are someone who has put your life and livelihood on the line to try to bring peace in the world, and you see so much and you deal with so much, and we're desperately trying to make a difference, that passion, and when we speak, can get misinterpreted. So again, we are not here to put anyone down. We are not here to offend anyone. If I have offended anyone, my apologies, but again, the Almighty knows that is not my intention. And I thank you guys so much. Special shout out to my family, Miss Kitty Lulu, I am Magdalene Mine, Abong, Sandy B, shout out to you, Kevin T, I got your back family in the house, and Booby Love family in the house. I appreciate all you guys, and of course, MsQuietQueen, you know I love you to pieces.
I love you more.
I really do respect and honor all of you guys. But again, the foundation must be owned, it must be recognized, and it must be uplifted. And again, we can go much deeper on this, but as you can see, even on the surface level, you can trigger some things, but the conversation must be had. And like MsQuietQueen said, we are ascending now. This is why it's so important that we get this message out and across. And I like to show more or less by example. So, I don't just talk a certain way. I live what I speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to say hello and goodbye to everybody too, and thank you for joining us and everything. And just to recap or just a few minutes, real briefly, I posted a video many years ago. It was called "How to Speak or Contact with Your Angels," because y'all know I was big on that. And in that video, I talk a lot about. Well, I don't talk. It was just. It's one of those videos that I have pictures and did a lot of editing about masculine and feminine energies. So did you see it, Prop? Because I wanted everybody to go ahead and get that link and check that out, because that really does help explain what we just talked about when I was talking about earlier about the channeling and everything. And I want to say what's up to my sister. I am Magdalene Mine. Hi, I love you. Thank you. And Miss Kitty Lulu.
Okay, yeah. You could mention your channel, and I don't have the link at the moment, but if you could mention your channel and the name of the video, people could check it out.
Actually, I linked it on this on this channel right here. I linked it before you went live, so I don't know where it is. Maybe I still have it and I could just put it in the comments. But my channel is MsQuietQueen. No, Quiet Queen Project is the name. It's my channel. Let me see.
Okay, I'll have you located in the description of this stream. They'll be able to click the link.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate it. Thank you for just staying in tune regardless. It was a it was a nice discussion. It got kind of sticky here and there. I prefer to stay, on the positive lane so we could continue on in that direction without getting derailed with other stuff. And there's nothing wrong with having the conversations, what I think, but it wasn't about going the other direction. But thank you for staying positive regardless, guests. I appreciate it. And also to the other people commenting, you kept it positive regardless, so I appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you.
All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you. I had fun. Thank you, everybody in the comment section that said hello to me.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank
All
you,
right.
Pop. Call me back some other time.
I will.
Stay in
All
the
right.
light,
See ya.
angels.
All right. Thank you for coming through and representing, propagating the stream and things like that. Tomorrow, Tuesday, stay in tune for another stream with my life, and we'll be talking about astral projection, and the guest will be Juanito, so it'll be 7:30 p.m. PST. And I see you, my life. You came through. Avon, thank you. You say peace out. Put you on the screen right now. Yep. And stay in love's vibration no matter what. Exactly. I mean, it was kind of sticky right there. I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? And anybody's offended by me, timing somebody out. I mean, I just had to stop it after a while. A person's entitled to their opinions. But I only could take it so far. Not on this channel. I can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it positive here. So it is what it is. Thank you again. Rock steady.